Good afternoon. My name is Urko Sanchez. I'm going to introduce a little bit myself. I'm a Spanish architect living in Kenya and working in Africa for the last 20 or so years, mostly in East Africa. East Africa has many, it can be explained. And there are a couple of things that, I'm very nervous, sorry. There are a couple of things in East Africa that that affect us as architects very much. One is the growing development. It's growing very fast. And everybody wants to develop, though nobody really knows in which direction. Secondly, is the fact that there are lack of rules, lack of regulations. And that brings or allows architects a big freedom to do what we want. But at the same time, we understand that freedom comes with a lot of responsibility. Now with SOS, the children, village in Tajura, Djibouti is a very tiny country in the Horn of Africa. The weather is extreme. It's very hot and very dry. The highest temperature that has been recorded in Earth has been there. The landscape is extremely arid. And the people who live in Djibouti come from two major ethnic groups. One are the Somalis, and the other one are the Afar. Both of them, they share their religion, they're all Muslims, and their tradition in the sense that they are all nomads, or they used to be nomads. And that nomadic tradition obviously reflects in their architecture. Their architecture, their traditional architecture, is basically, as you can see, a small shelter that protects them from the environment, from nature, and which provides only the space basically where to sleep or protect. The rest of their lives are done in the open sky. Though, for the last years, since colony times more or less, people have started to settle, and they have created small villages or towns. So where we had to work is called Tajura, which is the second largest city in Djibouti. It has like around 40,000 people and it's in the seashore. Though that Djibouti is extremely hot, Tajura, particularly, the climate is a little bit better. And people from Djibouti, normally they take their holidays in Tajura because of this little bit better climate. Though the temperatures, they reach 46 degrees with an average of 30 plus. Humidity varies from 20 to 90, but around 60. Winds, special, interesting, they come basically from one direction whole year. Water, rain, nothing. Sometimes rains once a year. Sometimes it doesn't. The plot where we had to intervene is quite regular, square. It was flat, more or less on the side of the village. And well, the most interesting aspect of it that we found was the fact that they had some trees on the boundary. Now the client is SOS Kinderdorf. It's an international NGO that has been working with children for the last 80 years. I think they started with the Spanish Civil War, actually. And they have projects in 130 countries. That means that they have a lot of experience doing these villages, and they have very strict regulations. So the program that we received, it was very clear, and pretty much fixed with Northern European standards. It basically works like this. The community identify children who are in need either because they are orphans or because they are in great need. To actually, those children are given to this organization that create families for them. The family, these children are organized in groups of 10 that have a mother who takes care of them. In this case, there were 10 mothers, 10 units. The village is directed by a father, by a village director, which plays the role of a father. And the mothers, they are assisted by aunties, who are external women who come and assist the mothers on the daily things of the household. So when we try to fit this program in the plot that we had, we realized immediately that the density was going to be high. And when we look for references of traditional architecture, we saw, as I've shown, that basically their architecture is nomadic. So we looked a little bit in a further area, and immediately came to us the fact that in other similar climates and similar cultural conditions, people who have been more stable have created urban structures based on this very high density Medina style. These are samples of just across the Red Sea, Yemen or Arabia. So basically, that brought us the idea of playing with that and creating a Medina to actually work out this program in such a plot. But it was not any Medina, it was a Medina for basically children, because 80% of the population of that tiny Medina was going to be children. So that had certain important conditions that we tried to apply in our design. The floor plan of the Medina might look a little bit chaotic. It actually has a rationale behind. Basically, those are the 10 houses in the ground floor. We leave the cars at the entrance, and we put also the services, so that we build a perimeter wall to actually create a secure environment for children to live and play. The squares or open spaces, we related them to the existing trees. And in the first floor, we put the program of what was not the houses of the children, but the village director, the aunties, and the visitors. The way it looks today is, as you can see, we believe that it's a very well integrated building. And we believe that integration in that environment is an important value, not only in the architecture, but precisely for children who come from situations like that. We also believe that it has an identity, and it reflects the values of SOS and children living there. It also generates a sense of community, which again is something important, we believe, for those children to have. So it's a building with a secure playground for children, with a lot of open spaces, I'll come back to that, and with as much as vegetation as possible. That's an existing tree, and how the square, it was generated around it. We also included vegetation inside the houses in a way to invite children to take care of it, to grow with it, learn about it, care about it, and eventually benefit out of it. So again, vegetation, natural vegetation, like an important value that we introduced there. In terms of environmental aspects, we work with energy, trying to provide solar panels in the roofs. We actually provide shade. Ventilation towers to try to improve as much as possible natural ventilation, especially in those areas which was more difficult to achieve. Water, we planned to store water, but it was not viable. But because Tajura has a natural source of water, which is the only natural source of water of Djibouti, what we then did was to make sure that we established a system of, with a biodigester, so the water that was actually spilled into the ground was not contaminating. But probably the most innovative the most innovative aspect of this project, I believe, is the way we work with space. The program was clear. We had 3 bedrooms for the children, a bedroom for the mother, a couple of shared bathrooms, one specific for the mother, and then a living room and a kitchen dining. Because of this tradition, nomadic tradition, we understand that the community is used to live in outdoor space and to do a lot of their normal activities under the stars. Nowadays, regardless of where the people come from, what the traditions are, we have come to learn, at least in Africa, that their aspirations in life are pretty much global. And the people, they want or they dream to have a kitchen like they have seen in the movies and a living room with a flat TV. So we said, okay, these are their aspirations, and as children of SOS, we should provide in a way for them, but we should not forget their traditions. So we associated the living room and the kitchen, each one with an open space area where they could actually do their normal outdoor activity, as well as the new way of using their space. So in this way, we intend the women to be able to cook in the kitchen, but also to cook with firewood. We allow them, or we invite them to have, if they want, chicken in their houses, or goats, which again is part of their tradition. The same way that they can watch a movie on the television or play PlayStation, they can lay in the floor, look at the stars, and tell stories about the old times. So that combination and the lack of, we didn't put any separation between those spaces to actually create this fluent movement. And then I go back, we introduced the entrance idea, because being a Muslim community, the sense of privacy is very important, and because the house inside is so open, we said, okay, let's remove a little bit of space from all this very structured program that we were given to actually create that entrance into this private space. So these are pictures of how it's being used and how those spaces relate one to each other, and who the people are, the mothers, the children, and how they bring color with the clothes. Because we also decided to go for a very homogeneous kind of finish all over. Even though it was a children's village, we didn't want to bring a lot of color in the architecture. We prefer to actually create a landscape of desertic, in a way, and let the people bring color with with their clothes and materials and fabrics once they use the spaces. Finally, this would have not been possible without a very hard work of very different people from very different nationalities, starting from the German Cooperation Aid, which founded the project, a project manager who was actually from Austria, engineers from Kenya, a local architect from Uganda who was living in Djibouti for the last 10 years, was married to a Djiboutian and gave us a lot of inside knowledge about their tradition. And then a Chinese contractor, and obviously the local workers. So all together, working for the same aim, different nationalities, we actually achieved to build this, which is quite complex to build in Djibouti. I mean, but because of one common feeling of trying to put part of our work for people who need it, and hopefully improving a little bit the world where we live. Thank you.